I hope you all have your things ready, like few A4 sheets, 2B, 4B, 6B pencils, like they are like these. I have kept them all of them blunt. That is for a reason which I will explain in the session. Also a tissue paper and an earbud. Hi, I am Ashu and you are watching me on Fundu Live today. Today's workshop is all about bringing your flat line drawings to life by creating an illusion of lights and shadows. Lights and shadows, we are all aware. So for this, basically we need to understand three things: pressure control, how to shade smoothly, and most importantly, how lights and shadows behave. I am going to walk you through all these three and then we will shade together to create a 3D art. So let's get started. When we talk about pressure control, what we mean is the amount of pressure we put on the pencil while we are drawing. Just for example, here's a sheet. Like if we are drawing, for example, let's start drawing from this side to like this. You see, with the same pencil, as I am going towards the right, I am creating a darker shade. This is basically because of the pressure control. The more you press, the harder you press on the pencil, the more you will get a darker shade. I'm sure all of you are aware of this thing. You must have noticed this. This side is lighter, while this side is quite darker. The more if you go on scribbling more and more, you will say it's getting even darker. So basically, this is what we call pressure control. When we want to apply some light shades, we need to basically put a lesser pressure on our pencil while making those strokes, and when we are trying to make it harder for the shadows basically, so that for that we need to press a little harder so that we get a deeper shade. Now if we go the second part, that is smooth shading. So how do we do a smooth shading and what is meant by smooth shading? When we talk about smooth shading, basically we mean, like for example, I'm showing you. Supposingly you're drawing these strokes like this. There's some amount of gap in between. You can notice this. Now, when we are shading, these gaps are not wanted. We should not be having these gaps. So how do we shade smoothly? Basically like this. And what do we mean by that? We are basically trying to get rid of the gaps in between as much as possible. So now you see, you can see that there's no gap in between these lines. They are smooth. It feels like a fill, whereas these were like strokes. So this is a no, and this is the right way of shading. How do we get these kind of results? For this, we need to keep few things in mind. For example, we should not use a sharp tip pencil. I am using a blunt pencil. See, this basically helps you to get rid of those sharp lines, those sharp edges. So when you are shading, you get, and when you are using a blunter pencil, it will be like, the strokes will be like deeper, more uniform, more filling, with lesser gaps in between. So use a blunt pencil, number one. Number two, use the side of the leads to draw shading or strokes. What do we mean by that? For example, if we do it like this, if we hold the pencil on from the tip like this, it will be like, you will be getting those sharp things. But if you are doing it on a slanting note like this, the lines will be thicker, and they will be giving you more coverage of the area you're trying to shade. So we need to hold the pencil like this, a little slanted. So we can use this side of the pencil to shade. I hope you all are understanding. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Now, the most important concept. Understanding of lights and shadows. This is the most essential part we need to understand when we are doing any sort of drawing which we want to look lively, more realistic, and again for our 3D art, which is the main thing for the today's concept, basically today's workshop. In order to understand how lights and shadows work, let's consider this simple drawing here. I've already drawn it for you. Like this. Here I have tried to explain the concept of light. This is a ball which I have created, and this is the source of light on top left. I have kept it on top left. For example, it can be anywhere, but for today's demo I have kept it on the top left. This is the top source light, means any bulb or any tube light or any other source of light. So the light is falling on half portion of the ball and the other half is in shadow. This is very much obvious. If you hold a ball in your hand, in your home as well, you will be able to see when you throw light from one source, once one side, you will see the other side is in shadow. It is a very generic thing. Even we see our own shadows. When the light is falling on this half, it is basically lit up, while the other side is the shadow side. Now we have the shadows are of different types, like how to see the amount of shadow. First we talk about the cast shadows. The cast shadow is basically the shadow which falls, this is the shadow of the object which falls on the surface where it is placed. This dark shadow under the ball, which is called cast shadow. This is the shadow of the ball on the surface on which the ball sits. If you notice it clearly, the size of the cast shadow can be obtained by drawing line from the light source, from here. From the light source through the edge of the ball, to the surface of both sides. So I have drawn this this oval shape. So this is basically from here to here after drawing this line. So this is the shadow area. I have given it an oval shape because the shape of our ball is circle. That is why it is mostly the shadows are always in oval shape. Generally, I'm not talking about specifically, but if we talk about human shadows, obviously they take the shape of human bodies, but it is not of the same size as our size basically. So this is a cast shadow which is casted because of the light source on the opposite direction. Now if you see the ball, there is a light line which is separating the light side from the shadow side. This is where we see a darker shadow on the side. This is called the core shadow. This core shadow is very important so as to when we are shading the things. So if you see this, what we get is this. This was original concept wise, and this is how it will look in real. The ball will look like this. When you're shading it, it is going to look. This is a core shadow here. This is the cast shadow. This is the light, and this is how this is an elusive line which we have created to understand the shadows, how it is falling on the surface. So I hope this is quite clear to you now. And in case you have any questions, you can always write in the chat box so we can understand and help you out with that. So with the drawing now. Okay. To start with, now it's time you take your pencils, your A4 sheets together so that we can start off with our today's workshop, that is a 3D art. This is a blank A4 size paper which I have taken. Okay, you can keep it on the portrait side. Portrait means long. it looks like, not the horizontal. Horizontal is the landscape mode. Landscape is like left to right, it is longer, and top to bottom it is shorter. But we want it portrait. Portrait mode is basically when the top to bottom is the height is longer, and the left to side right we have a shorter paper size. Now, how long, Nimisha is asking, how long shadow should be cast shadow? Okay, once again, as I told, what we can do, we can draw two lines from the source through the edges of the object and take it towards the surface. Same here, from this source I have drawn this line. This is just for the explanation purpose. So you can draw these lines, and basically the cast shadow will be you can create another small line just below the object, and then you can create an oval shape around it. That will be the size from here to here. This is the size of the cast shadow. Today we are going to make a 3D apple. And I have chosen apple because it is a very simple drawing. Anybody can do it very easily. And the main purpose we are doing workshop is to understand the concept of lights and shadows, and for that we are more concentrated about the shading part than the what exactly we are drawing. So let's start with an apple. To draw, let's draw an apple. I'm drawing any rough sketch kind of thing, just an outline circle, freehand. Now you can improvise that as per the shape of your object. You may use a 2B pencil for this, because 2B pencils are basically, let me tell you about the pencils as well. The 2B pencils have lighter strokes, 4B have a bit deeper strokes, whereas 6B they have the deepest strokes. I can show you here. For example, this is 2B. Now if I go for 4B, you will see the shade is a bit deeper than the earlier ones. It's not about the pressure thing. If some people are like, they are not very sure about the pressure thing, they can always go for these pencils. Otherwise even one pencil can do the job. But we can always, for a better look, for more poppy artworks, we can always have these pencils. They will help us. They are basically tools for helping us making our drawings even better. So this is 2B, this is 4B, and this is 6B. So you can see the difference. So even with applying the same amount of pressure, I have created these. So basically this helps us in overcoming that pressure issue. So I am using a 2B pencil to draw our apple. Let's erase the unwanted extra lines here. So this is the apple. We need to create a surface so that where it sits. Line like this. You can take it as a reference, and some people who can do it very easily, like they can like do it freehand as well. This basically demarcates the line of the surface or table or anything which might be on where this apple sits. Let us understand how it is going to work with the lights. If we just imagine that the light source is this. Just see. This is the source of light. You can just make it as a point of reference over here. So now we will draw a line towards the apple. Very light line, just for our reference purpose. another line somewhere like this. Draw a line under the apple as well, a very light line, just for your reference purpose. All the three are for just for your reference purpose. I've drawn 3 lines. One line is going from the light source to the bottom. The another one is going through the edge of the apple to the other side, and another third line I've created under the apple. This will be our cast shadow. This is for the purpose of our cast shadow, and this is for understanding where the light falls. So if you see, this line is intersecting the apple at this point and over here. So we can draw a small line or curve out here just for our reference purpose to understand where's the light. So now this is the light side and this is the shadow side, as we drew in this reference which we did. This is the light side, this is the shadow side. Same with this, light side, shadow side. Now we will start shading. First of all, we need to draw cast shadow. How will we do that? For this, we need to create a horizontal drawing, just an outline kind of a thing, just below the apple. It will be a thin one, oval shape, like this. Okay, now we will start shading the core shadows. What was the shadow? The core shadow is the shadow which falls on the line which separates the light side from the shadow size. So this is the core shadow over here. So in this drawing we will be having the core shadow out here, this zone, because this is where the light is dividing itself. So how do we do that? To do that, we basically need to draw diagonal strokes. Just a second. Take an 6B pencil for this. Take the pencil as advised, not straight but a little slanted. This is the core shadow which we are creating. Trying to fill in the gaps for a smoother shading. This is a cast shadow. Sorry, this is the core shadow. Then we also know that the apple sits on this table, so there is the least amount of light that goes under the apple. So basically we will create another dark shadow out here. Use 6B pencil for this purpose because that gives you the darkest shades without much pressing. You can start filling in this cast shadow. For this, you need to press your 6B pencil a little more. Create this. Draw the outlines and then fill in with the shadow. As you go outwards, the shadow will become a little more lighter. The pressure should be lesser on the outer side of the shadow. So basically the shadow is coming up to this length out here. I hope you all are able to follow. Okay, next, now we have defined our core shadow, we have defined our cast shadow and a little bit out here. Now we need to fill in the other areas with our midtones. Midtones with when we talk about midtones, it is the 4B pencil we need to use because that gives us the medium range of shadows. So we will go for a 4B pencil. Let's start shading on the bottom section. While filling with the midtones out in this core shadow area, we need to make sure that it goes smoother. Otherwise, it will look different from the other areas. We need to blend it together. I will be doing it the blending part, but a little bit with the pencil as well. Now, a little bit out here. We need to include some midtones out here as well for a smooth transition. It has already started taking some amount of shape. Next, now this is for this area. Now for the light area, we have to draw with the midtones as well. So start shading with your 4B pencils again, the way we did it at the bottom side. Let's do it again. Remember the concept, blurry pens. The pencil should be blunt. For smooth shading, we need to avoid those gaps in between to give it a smoother look. Now filling up the midtones out here. So as we did it over here, we need to do a little bit over here as well, so that the surface of the apple looks smoother. So a little bit pressure on the 4B pencil only. With a little bit of pressure, you can increase the amount of tone over there. Blending as much as possible to give it a smoother look. If you can see, the apple has started looking much smoother than it was looking earlier, because the core shadow is getting a little bit merged into this midtones which we have created. If required, you may include some more 6B lines, basically strokes, to fill up any gaps in between, like the core shadows, to blend it a little bit more so that the edges are not very hard. Very lightly. Now it looks even more smoother. You can avoid any outlines. So this is the apple we got. Now what you need to do is we have created those strokes. Now if you see, our strokes are a little bit like this. Now we will take care of the rest of the part with the help of the blending part. And how do we do that? So we need to get hold of our tissue papers and our earbuds for the purpose. This earbud and tissue paper. I've got this small tissue paper. Okay, so you need to just fold it like this, half, then another half, then another half, then another half, and then another half, till it becomes like this. We need to shade this or blend this. What is meant by blending? Blending is basically when we mix two things in such a way that they get into each other so smoothly that the transition is not visible very clearly. It just smoothly gets supposedly, for example, if you have if we talk about a red color and a blue, if we put red on one side and then blue on another side, and then if we try to just smooth that thing from in between that transition, let me show you with an example, just a minute. Over here this is light, this is darker, and this is darkest. Now how will you blend this? You have to just shade it like this. And then this one mixing into this. Basically blending is mixing well so that the gap, how the transition is happening is not visible. So now you can see the transition has become smooth. You cannot make out where exactly the color changed. So this is called blending, but it is not exactly the blending. This is with the strokes which we have already done. What we need to do now is blending with our tissue paper. We need the tissue paper to work on larger areas, blending the larger areas, while we need this earbud to blend the small areas like this tip. So how will we do that? Just take a look. First I'm showing on this side. We are just going to rub it across. You may start from the lighter side to the darker side or vice versa, but make sure that you will use a clean side for blending, lighter shade especially. See. So this is smoothing, this is blending. Now if we do the same on our apple, let's see how it comes. First we need to blend the lighter areas. Try to keep your hands up so that your hands like this are not messing up. It will make your entire drawing dirty. So keep your hands a little bit up and then try smoothing out. Then smooth out the darker areas very lightly. Same here. Gradually, as we go towards the lighter shades, we need to make it blend so that the entire thing looks smooth. You can keep on changing the sides of your tissue paper so that you don't do messy work. For this upside, we will use this because it has a tip, so we can just blend it with this. Now for the cast shadow, we will again be using this. Use vertical linear strokes because we don't have much space here to explore, so we will use, you may use the earbuds as well. Results will be almost the same. Let's delete this extra reference lines which we created softly. Delete that light reference as well because we don't need it anymore. Our drawing is almost done. Now for the back side, certainly we require a lot of patience and practice as well. Art of any form, whether it's maths, whether it's art, because science is also kind of art. Art and science go together. So we need a lot of practice for everything, and for practice we need a lot of patience. So we can just make this a little bit more natural. You may use any shade and then blend it again. Okay. Now we always see that any object, whatever it might be, it always has a point where it has an extra light, an area which is like almost white. Whatever kind of shadow comes in, there is light, there is shadow, and there is one point which is completely white. We call it the highlight point. Okay, so we can create a highlight for our drawing as well. Why not? We want to make it as realistic as possible. So what we will grab an eraser and just, since our light point was here, we expect that highlight will be somewhere here, because highlight is the area which has a maximum amount of light, so glowy that it becomes white. In this reference, this is the highlight area. This highlight is the area which is completely white, because that receives the most of the light. So in this we need to create something like this as well. So we are going to erase certain part smoothly. You can add a little bit to make it more poppy. So now it looks a little bit more natural with the right amount of shades, little bit highlight. This highlight becomes more prominent as your strokes become darker. In this drawing, I have used darker shades for the midtones, so the highlight is like very flashy. But in this case, our apple is more smoother, so I have not used a very high amount of light. It's not a very hard highlight. It becomes hard especially for plastic balls and glossy surfaces. And if your apple is glossy, certainly this highlight will become even more harder. And how can you achieve that? By making these midtones a little bit darker. That will give you even darker highlights. So this is your apple. Now the fun part. Now you want to make this apple a 3D art. How can you do that? What you need to do, we have already created the illusion of some 3D object, because with these lights and shadings it's already started looking so realistic. What we need to do next to give it a 3D art, we need to cut along these lines. This line along the edges here, then continuing over here. So when you cut, it will look like this. I've already kept it cut for you so that you can be able to understand. So when you cut this thing over here in our drawing, here, then along this, then here and this. So now it looks like this. So this is your 3D apple and today's workshop. So hope you guys enjoyed doing this. Any questions you can always ask. Okay, to summarize this all together, what we need to do first, today we learned about, first of all, the concepts of lights and shadows. Okay, the surface which receives direct light is called the light side. The other side, which is on the opposite end, it's called the shadow side. And then the area in between the light side and the shadow side receives the core shadow, and the cast shadow is the shadow cast by that object on the surface where it sits. So this is about the concept of light. You need to understand. Over here, I hope this is clear to you, this entire thing. So what we received after following this concept, we received this. The light, the same light as we have had it here, and our object, the same ball in realistic life with the light, this core shadow and this cast shadow. And here we included the highlight as well, which I have already told you. When we drew this apple, first of all we need to take care of the core lights, this core shadows, then we work on the cast shadows at the bottom, then we included those mid-tones in between, and then we added a highlight. Lastly, we cut off from this side to give it this 3D apple look. It's looking 3D like this. If you put it on a surface, it looks like this. Do send us your feedback so that we can also come up with something new, something more innovative, something like this once again for you. Thank you so much. Signing off for the day. Thanks once again.